Are you dumb?
Perfect inning, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 outs has only been achieved 46 times in MLB history. It's pretty good.
Say that again.
The perfect inning, so 9 pitches, 9 strikes, and three total outs has only ever been achieved 46 times in MLB history. It's this guy. You laughing at? Is it a name like Xavier Babader?
No, I was just saying nothing could be more insane than Undertaker's 25-2 record at WrestleMania, dog. Nobody's record ever comes close.
Not even going like 6-0 on Robin Banks.
He's not 6-0 anymore.
Well, at one point he was. At one point, Chiefsaholic was.
His
Today
world
the
has
news
come crashing down.
today the news came out that the FBI has finally arrested and taken down Chiefsaholic Xavier Babader. Uh, this guy has been on the lam for 6-ish months. He went out on bond right before the Super Bowl at the beginning of February, end of January. Has been on the lam since then. Everybody thought he had gone to Mexico. That would have been a really, really smart idea. But he was arrested by deputies in Placer County. That covers the area between Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, and um, what is that? Sacramento Valley. So Northern California. Why he's out running through the redwoods, I'll never know. It would have been smarter to go down south and get yourself into a country that possibly can't extradite to the United States. But yeah, today Xavier Babador is been arrested, taken down, and the affidavit actually came out. I don't know if you guys saw the affidavit. They are now getting him on multiple accounts of robbery, so he is a serial bank robber. They are getting him on taking stolen property across state lines. They are getting him for money laundering as well. And they have already linked his cell phone to a minimum of six other bank robberies that they will be confirming, but they have released that information. They even put out a little map where they've traced his cell phone in places where bank robberies have taken place on the exact same date and time that he was there. You're looking at Nashville, Tennessee, Des Moines, Iowa, Apple Valley slash Savage, Minnesota, Clive, Iowa twice, Omaha, Nebraska, and then obviously Bixby, Oklahoma, where he was finally detained and arrested at least the first time. Uh, the money that they have counted up from there, it comes in. I did that math earlier today, a little under $800,000. They are claiming that he has laundered money in a way that where he will go to casinos, hand straight cash to casino to buy the chips, take the chips back to the casino, pull it out. You have taxes that you have to pay from there, and then put it into the bank account so that it can be cleaned. They're saying that he has done that with well over $1 million, meaning that there is definitely some other places where some money has had to come from that they are waiting to link him on in that affidavit as well.
Man, the only thing that could have made the story better is if he actually wore his wolf mask while robbing these banks, or a wolf mask while robbing the banks. But dude literally just thought it was the Wild West out here.
He got away with it for years. He got like, is robbing a bank really this easy? you can have a large social media presence, you can travel to games, you can gamble all this money. It's not really a big issue because you're just going and pulling out $100,000 left and right from banks.
Well, is it? I mean, he's hit with all this stuff. He's going to be going to prison for a while. Is it worth it? Eventually, it caught up to him.
Eventually, it did catch up to him. If it did, but there were he could have stopped before Bixby, Oklahoma, and he would have been totally fine.
Maybe.
Never would have been
You
caught.
don't know that.
That's true. I don't know. It seems like he would have never been caught prior to Bixby. They couldn't link it to anyone. They wouldn't have been able to get his. They would not have been able to get his information without having a warrant or anything like that because Apple does not give out that information due to security breaches or security protocols.
I feel like it would be such a tense life, man, and to just be that ballsy to put yourself out there like that. Like, dude had to have been looking over his shoulder like all the time, right? Like the kind of guy that really like reacts when he hears police sirens too close. Like,
He should have went back to his warehouse job.
It's a
yeah, his warehouse job.
yeah that's wild. Again, he tweeted that out a couple years ago now, a year, 2 years ago now, that he graduated from Kansas State. He was a manager of multiple warehouses across the Midwest region. I mean, how does this guy get around robbing banks? Nobody can find out. Nobody knows who he really is. Says that he's graduating from Kansas State, never really graduated from college, period. Didn't have a job managing warehouses, but worked at a warehouse for a few months in 2020. Stated that he was homeless on the arrest report, but had an apartment or a rental home in Overland Park. And the whole thing is just odd.
I mean, he either thought his life was a movie or intentionally wanted himself to get in like turned into a documentary. So we're probably gonna give this guy what he wants. Like there's already people that are probably working on that shit.
Well, we do know that he did try to sell his story to the New York Times while he was in jail in Bixby, which I think that may have gone through. I'm not quite for sure, but we also know friend of the show, Christian Folsom, did an interview because he was the one who broke the news on Chiefsaholic originally when everybody thought he was like possibly dead. He has already done an interview, and we're waiting to hear about that. But they've clearly got a lot more content now that he's been arrested, and we'll have a lot more information coming out on that with the documentary whenever that finally airs.
I think uh I think Tiger King has had its time. I don't know. I don't know if this gets as like it's already gotten, the national attention on Twitter. I don't know if the documentary is going to do as well. People are
These
going to say
guys,
it's old
the
news or
guys
something.
seem to do well, and I would assume that they would put it out shortly after whatever transpires from his day in court.
Plot twist: he dies while he's on
There's
trial.
wouldn't put it past him. No, he likes the attention too much. He likes the attention too much.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to kill himself, but
No Jeffrey Epstein type deal.
Chiefsaholic knows something. He's going to be put down.
Well, in other news, there's some other probably legal ramifications that are definitely going to be coming from this one. I don't even know this guy's name, but it is the Northwestern head football coach that is in some fire, and he's actually been fired as of today. There has been a lot of stuff going on about this today. I think the news broke yesterday, being Sunday, about hazing that has been going on at the Northwestern football program. Pat Fitzgerald is his name. He's again recently been fired, but there's been multiple reports of hazing that has been going on. I won't go into specifics on what those things are because they are pretty disgusting. But in terms of Pat Fitzgerald stating that he had no idea these things were going on, there's proof and evidence that there are multiple dry erase boards hung up throughout the locker room of the acts that senior level players need to do to freshmen or underclassmen, where it's completely visible to coaches, staff members, of the coaching staff, but also staff members of the school, like the AD, if they were ever to walk in, but not including that, recruits and parents that would be walking through the locker rooms as well would be able to see what these acts are that are being asked of players that are on, that are just written around the locker room and then also filmed.
I guess Sean doesn't have anything to say about it because Sean's down with that stuff.
I just can't believe this, man.
You
Like, how are we going to be
you
able to
can't
go in
believe
there?
it.
How are we going to go in there and see all this stuff for years and do nothing about it? All of a sudden, this out of nowhere, hey, yeah, we haze. Been documented for years apparently now, but
I don't understand it. I played college football, not at an extremely high level or anything, but like I've been a part of organizations. Never once have I been or seen any part of like a hazing in any way, shape, or form. Like that, hearing that stuff is always wild to me. And I don't know how somebody also doesn't speak up, especially with the transfer portal that we have today and players being able to leave easier when they see something that they don't want to be a part of. And nobody said anything as they transfer out of this program.
I guess they just love their coach for some odd reason.
Listen, this dude's chopped
Is
and screwed over here. You
Sean's getting
listen,
hazed.
when the whole Penn State Joe, what's the guy's name? Jerry Sandusky.
Yep.
When that whole thing dropped, like I mean, you everybody was also just like, oh my god, like what, like this. I don't know, dude. There's certain competitive sports and I don't know, football particularly, and maybe like just like the super aggressive sports, like it breeds a type of person that participates in that type of bullshit. I think I don't know, it's a whole power dynamic thing, man, and I I'm lucky to I haven't been on teams that have ever come in you know to anything close to what you are hearing of out of Northwestern, but like I've seen some forms of hazing before. Like this, it doesn't surprise me. Is all I'm saying.
I think it's a failure. I mean, obviously, it's a failure on Pat Fitzgerald and whatever culture he was trying to lead there, and obviously leading his players into whatever this hazing ritual culture, whatever that was. But it also falls on the school, and the NCAA needs to step up on this, not only for the football program, but probably for the school. Because, like I said, if that information is out there easily available for anybody who walks into the locker room, you're also betting that this information isn't going to come out prior to the season and that you can just kind of get away with it at some point later on. And that's just poor leadership overall.
If there's a school that big as Northwestern participating in that type of stuff for multiple years, it's I have a feeling it's probably happening at other locations across the
Oh,
country.
for sure. Yeah, that I have no
It's
doubt of.
it's strange, honestly, but it's like I know what people are capable of, and I know what there's some fucking weirdos out there, man.
We'll talk about another weirdo guy by the name that goes of Bob Huggins. We talked about him a little bit. He got uh, another DUI. He's had multiple. He resigned from his position at West Virginia University as their head basketball coach. Nobody
No,
has really said anything, and
but he
now he's
says
not.
he's not. He didn't.
Now he's
I
coming out and
believe
he's
him.
saying it.
Believe her. Believe him. He did. He didn't resign.
Yeah, Bobby Huggins is now coming out and saying that he never
Not to
resigned.
be
The
not
letter,
related to Marty Huggins. Not to be confused with Huggins' family. Don't
shout
get
out
it.
Marty.
Don't get it twisted.
uh, Bob is saying that he didn't sign the resignation form. I believe West Virginia did put that out there, and he's saying that that signature is not his.
West
He
Virginia's
would
just trying
like,
to tear him down, man.
yep, yep. He wants his job back. He has stated so. So after having the DUI and then saying slurs on air radio, uh,
Oh man.
multiple weeks prior, he is still trying to get his job back. Like they wouldn't just have the rights to be able to fire him. But I guess that may be a dispute over money. If they were going to fire him, they would owe him the severance at least. So who knows? But Bob Huggins, buddy, that gig is gone in whatever shape or form that
You
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 want it.
you don't think
It
there's a
ain't coming
chance he
back.
gets his job back?
There is no shot that he gets his job back. There's after the two things that transpired within a 4 week period, saying slurs on radio, and then now a DUI, which is I'm not even gonna. It's his
The
multiple.
man
He's had
likes to
multiple
drink.
DUIs.
Jesus, don't we all?
It was
Do you
a
like to drink and drive, Tybo?
0.21
I just said drink.
BAC.
I didn't.
I think he was like 4 times above the legal limit, Sean. Like two. What'd you say? 2.1.
Yeah, 0.21.
0.21.
Which is almost 3 times above the legal
He
Yeah.
got pulled over in
So
Pittsburgh, and he kept on telling the cops he was in Columbus, Ohio.
limit.
yeah, old boy was
I
having a
mean,
grand time.
is this information corroborated?
That comes from the police department. Like,
All right, all right. Just saying, Bob Huggins probably is trash, but we don't know. Could be lies. Could be all made up.